First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, for allowing me to do another video through the Spirit. The Wadi Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, for allowing us, for giving us this truth as worms. Double honors to our apostles and the elders at Great Millstone, and salutation and blessings to the hopeful elect. And this is going to be a quick lesson on how you can't understand the mystery without knowing the history. And today's Christmas, this pagan holiday, the time where a majority of Jake, get together and you see your family, and which this whole unholy day is all pagan. It all has its origins in pagan rites and ancient pagan rituals that lead to people being sacrificed or killed to some god or some idol. And Jeremiah specifically told us not to worship or follow after this pagan holiday. It's in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. You can go read it. But you get if for brothers who know, you get some food, you get whatever, and you're around your family for a little bit. If you want to, you don't have to. And if a brother go, it don't mean he off. He's just getting some food and seeing his people. But nonetheless, talking with family, and you have to understand history and understand who we are and how the world really works. You have to understand we are the Israelites. You have to understand that the Native Americans that came over here are the biblical Israelites. You have to understand that. If you don't get that, if you don't understand that concept, you'll never understand this book. You'll never understand the Bible. You'll never get it. You'll never understand history, because Esau, Edom has tried to erase this big part of history and just slide it under the rug. How did the natives get over here? What happened? Where are they from? All these great historical moments that are very important to understanding history, they're just slid under the rug or completely lied about. They're just completely lied about. And this is why a lot of Jake, just don't get it. Of course, we know it's for them not to get it, but you have to understand somewhat of history to understand this Bible. You have to. And if you negate history, if you negate the history that's biblical history and that ties up with biblical history, you'll never get this book, man. You'll never get it. And this is why the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, by Shem Yahushai, has to be working with you to get it. You have to put these pieces together. Now, I really don't have any scriptures on this, but, just talking around, my people, and it's just like that. You have, because something came up about who the blacks are, or the black. Every Jake thinks of just all the niggas was over here. No, the Northern Kingdom came over here. This land was inhabited. They took the map that they had, that Solomon had from Hiram. That's how you understand it. They didn't go through no Barren Strait. They're not connected to the Moabites or the Ammonites. They're not part Chinese and black mixed together. No, they're their own people. They're the Northern Kingdom of the nation of Israel. And the only way you get that is you have to believe that these people are the Israelites, and how they got over here in the record that was left from the prophets. But this is Matthew's, and I'm actually going to grab the record, and then we close off from there. This is Matthew 13 and verse 10. Verse 11, he says, he answered and said unto them, because it is not given unto them. Oh no, I started at 10. It says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. and they don't, and they're not going to get it. They're not going to get the history. They're not going to understand it. They never will. They're just not going to get it because it's so plain, man. But Jake wants to believe any other route other than the truth. The truth is more plain than what you think it is, man. We are those people. The Northern Kingdom, the so-called Native Americans and Latinos, are the Israelites, and they came over here from not only from the land of Israel, but from the land of the Assyrians, because they were taken captivity out of Israel to the land of Assyria, which we're gonna grab, and then they fled captivity and came over here. Let's get it. This is 2nd Ezra 13 and verse 40. It says, "These are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Oshea, the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of the Assyrians, led away captive." And you can read about that in, I believe, either 1 Kings or 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, around the 20th to 24th verse. They were taken, the 10 tribes. The 10 tribes were taken. This is why Yahushua said, other sheep I have that are not of this fold, and I must gather them. Dealing with the Northern Kingdom. Because they were over here in Americas, and they have stories and accounts of Yahushua coming to visit them in his glorified body. At that. Look at that. Yahushua came in his power to the Northern Kingdom. So they believed for sure. They believed. They seen Yahushua in his glorified state. They believed on that man. They had faith in Yahushua. Yahushua didn't come as he came to the Southern Kingdom. He came in his glory. He came in a chariot, powered up, charged up to the Northern Kingdom. And they have accounts of that, man. They have account of that man, Yahushua, coming, who they call Kesukwata. It says, "And led away captive, and he carried them over the water, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave from the multitude of the heathens, because they were taken in captivity, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt." And how did they have that record? Because of Solomon. And that they might keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. This is why the Northern Kingdom has very similar, the Native Americans, have very Mosaic laws. A lot of their customs and a lot of their rights go back to the laws of Moses, because they are those people. And they enter into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, and the Most High did show signs for them, and held still the waters, held still the floods, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half. In the same region is called Arsareth, which is another land. And then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now, when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the streams again, that they may go through. Therefore showest thou the multitude with peace. Yeah, because those that are of the elect, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it and be gathered together with Yahushua and the elect. But going back, the main point being, they came over here to keep their ways, and they came over here to keep the laws. And this is why a lot of people get all debacled about, oh, the blacks are always over here. No, No one was over here for a time. And then the northern kingdom came over here and dwelt here. Let's get Solomon's ships. Solomon's navy of God damn it. Solomon's navy of ships. Right here. This is 1 Kings 10 and verse 22. It says, for the king had at the sea a navy of Tarshish, which is Spain, with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years, that year and a half journey, 1 year there, 1.5 years there, 1.5 years back, came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. And those where you get those Olmecs statues. You know, they left those as a sign, like a tag or fucking graffiti, like we was here. But they never stayed. They left. The northern kingdom came and stayed. And this is why you have to know the history of how they got over here and who we are, man. Because you would say, well, why did the bulk of slaves come from Spain or Portugal? Because we dwelt there. Well, how did they get there? Because we fled through the Atlas of Africa, those mountains, to the west coast of Africa, and through Europe, through Spain, through Germany, through Russia, through all those lands. We fled. Like Yahushua said, flee ye into the mountains. Why were these black people in these lands? Because we fled there from who? The Romans. You have to for you to understand who we are, you have to understand history. How did we end up in these places? We didn't just land on a planet Earth, man. We have great history, and Jake doesn't want to tap into that history, and honestly, because the Lord don't want them to tap into it. But this is why a lot of the slaves came from Spain, Portugal, Europe, all these areas, because what? They fled in those lands and ruled 1,000 years. Scotland, Ireland, the west coast of Africa, Fort Judah, Igbo, which means Hebrew. You have to understand history to understand the mystery, man. And a lot of our people don't get it. So this is just something real quick, just a little bit of history, not even going deep, just surface level. So with that, all praises be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodashim. With that, Shalom.